Okay, let's start. Welcome to our Dream to Rise podcast, and we have our special guest. She has a bachelor's degree in special education and science, a master's degree in counseling psychology, and is a Canadian certified counselor with the CCPA. She is a mental health literacy specialist and school counselor from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. She is also the founder of WingsOut.ca, a community for healing and growth. She is the proud recipient of the, how would you call it, ATA or ATA-IC award or
ATA.
ATA AISI Award for Innovation in 2001, the Murray Jampolsky Award 2016 for the Outstanding Practice as a School Counselor, and the GFEL Leaders in Education Award from 2020 to 2021. Wow. She also started the first Catholic GSA in Alberta in 2013, and which is the Spectrum Club. And that team produced a phenomenal We Don't Say campaign, which was picked up by Duke University. She's a member of the ATA Council of School Counselors, Calgary Provincial, past president and conference coordinator. She also co-moderates SCC Hat from 2014 to the present, an international monthly Twitter chat with connects school counselors from across the globe. Wow, what a long list of accomplishments and everything. But without further ado, let's all welcome Erin Luong. How are you, Erin?
Oh, I'm very good, Cynthia. Thank you so much for that great introduction.
And it's really an honor to have you here. Wow. Yeah, great to have you as a special guest.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm coming to you, right from school. So always working, always having fun.
Oh, that's the most important thing. Have fun while you're working, and you won't consider working as working. It is,
definitely.
yes, it's like a hobby now. Enjoying your activity. Okay, let's get started, Erin. I have asked you before about, well, we spoke about our, actually, before anything else, we got connected. Erin and I got connected because we are doing an anthology book, Dream to Rise. And I'm so glad that Erin joined my anthology book, Dream to Rise. And this is why I asked Erin, is it okay if you could share your story? Because it's very inspiring for sure, and very empowering for those who have are still in that dark bubble, trying to struggle and to come out from that dark bubble and see what life has to offer. So, Erin, I would just like to ask if you will be able to share with us your story that about yourself that brought you to where you are right now.
Definitely. Thanks so much for asking, Cynthia. It's an honor to share my story, and hopefully my journey will inspire others who are sort of at this point in their lives. So, basically, I have been involved with school counseling and mental health for the past 20 years. And then throughout that time, I was also previously married. And I have two teenagers from that marriage. And so part of what I did as a school counselor is I always tried to make sure that I was doing the latest in like professional development and growth and learning as I was going. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I was in a meeting from the women's shelter on domestic violence, and it was talking about healthy relationships. And as I was in this meeting, I was realizing that I need to be able to walk my talk, and I need to be able to live my life the way I'm asking kids to live their lives. So that caused me to make some really large changes in my family life and my personal life to make sure that I was moving into sort of a space that was more respectful for me and more empowering for me. And so, which led me to being a single mom of 2 teenagers over COVID. So at that point, I was working as a consultant for our school district, and part of our role was to work on the critical incident team, which the critical incident team was the one that went out when there was major emergencies, life lost, things were kind of going downhill. And so I took my job very seriously and I honored it, but it meant that I went to a lot of crisis situations and then went home and didn't have anybody sort of like to take some of that pressure off. So it was like I was taking in pain and taking in pain and taking in pain. And not wanting to project that on my kids either. So what ended up happening is they have that saying, we can't pour from an empty cup. I had taken in so much pain that in March of 2022, my body kind of said enough. And so there is podcast I saw where Jim Carey describes depression as deep rest, and that our body needs deep rest from whatever it was going through. And I would say that was what happened to my body last year. So I became catatonically depressed for a while. I had no voice. I couldn't speak. I could barely move. Life just felt super overwhelming. And so now on the other side of it, I would say that was my cocoon phase of life. That was a very dark and alone space, where I was feeling like I just needed to give up, like nothing was ever going to get better.
Oh my.
And so that,
by the way, I would just like to ask, how did this impact your children as well, and your relationship and your performance?
it definitely impacted them. In fact, even today, a year later, we have struggles because my daughter and I will talk about stuff that happened during that time, and she'll say, I know you were really sick, or I know you were really not doing well. And she tries to separate the two. But my son will say, you weren't the mom I needed. So he is having more of a, like, he's not that I want it to be let go of, but he's holding on to it more than my daughter did. So we're definitely still a work in progress. And I feel horrible that I couldn't be the mom he needed the whole time, but it was almost that by trying to be perfect before that is how I ended up burning myself out. So without taking any time for self-care and looking after myself before my illness is what contributed to my illness. So we're still coming through, we're still doing lots of stuff. But it definitely is still a work in progress. And there's definitely feelings where he's kind of like, you know, that wasn't what I expected life to be. So
that's additional burden, because dealing also with teenagers is difficult. At the same time, dealing with your issues as well, because the teenagers are more actually they're more demanding during that time, no? During that stage we're in, oh, this is what I want, this is what I want. And it's hard because I've experienced dealing with teenagers as well. But I'm sure it's going to be it's, if you mentioned that it's a work in progress, at least they're doing something for yourself and for your children.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, and I was super lucky because I had the support of my cousin and my best friend and my mom and a colleague at work. So I had a few people who stepped up and helped me fulfill some of my duties when I physically wasn't able to do everything that I had to do. So I definitely am grateful to sort of my village and everyone for looking after us during that period of time. And then I was diagnosed and I was medicated, and things were not like, and I had a lot of guilt too, because after 20 years being one of the experts in a field, it feels helpless when you can't use your own advice on yourself. So so going through that. But then kind of in September, I started saying, okay, the medication isn't going to make me better. The diagnosis isn't going to make me better. So what do I have to do? And that's when I started, doing things like making sure that I added yoga back into my life, making sure that I did some art and got creative a few times a week, joining dance class again. Like, so I actively started trying to pull some more joy back into my world. And so that's where I am. Like, I'm trying to rise from the ashes. Like last year was like the darkest point I'd ever been in 44 years. And so I'm working at it. I'm struggling at it. Some days work, some days aren't. Doing projects like participating in this anthology are important to me, because what I found is that there's still a lot of stigma around mental illness. And so people like in May and March, or in March, it was Mental Health Month. And I saw this one meme and it kind of made sense to me, because it said something like, people wouldn't tell you to just get over cancer. Right? But sometimes when it comes to things like depression or anxiety or anything like that, people are like, oh, just get over it. Oh, just be brave. Oh, just, and so for me, I am 3,000% better than I was a year ago. But I admit that I am still a work in progress. And I think that that's okay. I think that sometimes we put these like things out, like we all have to be super mom and we have to have the perfect career and the perfect accolades and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes we just have to have some of that self-compassion and say, you know what, we did the best we could with the information we had at the time. And some people made it through COVID and like had minimal damage, and some people made it through COVID with more deeper scars. And my family, we got some scars, but we're still here and we're still trying.
Yes, but I know it's hard because I've gone through my issues as well, coming from domestic abuse. It took me 6 years, but it's just that it is are the roadblocks that I was having in my mind is about myself. the guilt, the self-pity, the fears that we have, how we were raised by our elders. It all compiles, and then it brought us to a new world we're in. Now, how can we handle this given in this kind of situation? And yes, we won't be able to offer, share or give advice or inspire others if we ourselves are still at the bottom, no? So I agree with you. It takes time, but then you taking baby steps
Mhm.
makes a difference. And
Well, and
mhm,
it's actually interesting because one of the things you just brought up was the impact of domestic violence, which contributed also to where I
yeah,
ended up. And so aside from working on your anthology, I also started the project I Am Worthy, which
mhm,
is part of where the Wings Out came from, of the, you know, like even if people say bad things, or even if bad things have happened, I am still worthy of love. I am still worthy of peace. I am still worthy of, and so just like your anthology is pulling together stories of women who have risen from dark
darkness.
places
Mhm.
and everything like that. And so mine, I Am Worthy, is stories of women around the world who have like claimed their value, claimed their worth, and are willing to say, I am worthy of love too, or I am worthy of whichever goal they are setting for themselves now.
Exactly. Actually, I have experienced when I started working on myself, but the self-care, which you are doing right now, which is great, because
Mhm.
it starts really from how how do we see ourselves, no? How do we how do we value ourselves? If we don't value ourselves, then if we don't love ourselves, it's hard. It's really hard. And for me, to love myself is to forgive myself from what had happened in the past. And it contributed to me moving forward because I stopped engaging with other people because of fear that I'll be rejected and be judged. I'm sure you felt the same way. And and the people usually, oh, what will the society say? Oh, what will they say if you share your story? And even now, if a friend of mine is bashing me, a lot of people are bashing me that why do you have to share your story? What will happen to the other party? And so on and so forth. But I felt that not sharing your story is being selfish because you're you're here to really help those who are struggling, those who are
Mhm.
still at their darkest moments, their lowest. But you making baby steps, I'm sure it will lead to that that light that we're looking forward to. And I always tell others that if you don't take that uncomfortable action, opportunities will not show up because I believe opportunities are actually at the borderline of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
uh-huh. And that's what most of us are afraid to take that uncomfortable action because we just want to be in that comfort zone. We don't want to take that risk. But that's how we
Mhm.
learn.
Yeah. Well, part of what I wanted to do with Wings Out, which is my virtual safe space, is it is sort of what happens in our bodies is when we have hurt or we have pain or we have all that kind of stuff, and all we do is talk about it, what happens is it just stirs up and it doesn't actually go anywhere. It doesn't actually get released. And so by having
when you share it to other people, or
like
you just
like if we just ruminate in ourselves,
yeah,
like it just keeps eating away on the
Yes.
inside. But when we allow each other permission to actually see ourselves
Mhm.
and see ourselves in our fullness, not just the mask we put on,
Yes.
you know, when we're trying to be perfect, but like our full, like our good times and our not so bad times, that's when we start to really appreciate each other and start to really see some more sort of compassion. Like my kids are 3 years apart
Mhm.
because in between them, I had lost a baby at 17 weeks.
Mhm.
And when I lost that baby, I remember feeling at the time like I was the only person in the world, even though logically that doesn't make sense, but like feeling so alone. And then all these stories came out of the woodwork of, oh, I had a miscarriage and I had a miscarriage, you know, and then I realized like nobody wanted to talk about it,
Mhm.
but we all had a shared experience.
Mhm.
And so my hypothesis is that maybe not everyone goes into a deep depression the same way mine was, but you know, maybe people have times where they're feeling totally alone or totally isolated, or like they just need a little bit of push or motivation. And by offering them this safe space, it gives them permission to be that way and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah, that's why it's important to be surrounded by people who is there to lift and who believe in you. And for me, that's another um thing which I did to help me get out of my dark bubble. The people that surrounds you, the the guilt, the forgiveness that I had to do for myself, and when you share your story to other people, that was the time I became free. I don't know if this also resonates with you, because it's
Mhm.
hard. It's hard to open up and and be vulnerable to share our story to other people because we don't
Mhm.
know what would be the impact. But then the moment you share your story, that's the time that, oh, I'm free. I was able to share it. Now it's up to them whether
Mhm.
to accept me or not. But I'm here as a human being. More, whether you accept me or not, I am here, willing to be of help, willing to be to support for those who are struggling. And I know that is your mission as well.
Yeah. Well, and one of the turning points for me was last August or September. I went to a women's retreat, and
Mhm.
they talked a lot about how can we be of service to others? How can we give to others? And I was like, you know what? I can give my experience, or I can give my time, or I can give my attention
Yes.
to someone else. So I might not have thousands of dollars, but I can give in another way.
Yes. And for me, that's why I got inspired by Mother Teresa of Calcutta, because she focuses on love. It's not how much you give, but how much love you put into giving. And that's being compassionate.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yes.
it was only when I retired from the bank, World Bank, that was when I was 2020, when I discovered my why. I didn't know. But going through our life journey, that's that actually that is the key for us to discover what is really our purpose in life? What is our why? And now I'm sure you're you're in the process of really fixing yourself, and then making use of what you have gone through to serve other people. And
Mhm.
that's your why.
Well, and it's interesting because like over the last 6-9 months, I've been like, you know how you said we grow when we step out of our comfort zones.
Mhm.
So I've been doing, like I participated in this 40 over 40 campaign, like so women over 40 years old, 40 of us were gathered together to sort of show that beauty is beyond 40 years old. I've like jumped on board to try and do this writing stuff. I've I've just joined little projects and done little things to get me like out of my comfort zone.
See, because you're starting to see your worth, and that's what your book is all about, your anthology book.
Mhm.
I am worth it, and I value myself, and I love myself. I don't care what other people would say, but I love myself. And that's
Yeah.
how you feel confident, and you increase your self-esteem. I'm really truly honored after introducing you to the to the listeners. I'm glad that I have this opportunity to chat with you, with all your credentials and everything. Make use of that gift, the gifts that you have, because you can really share that light to other people. I know it, Erin. So,
Mhm.
so now I could see that you're in the process, no? So, and you have shared your current challenges. What is now your goal for the next 12 months?
Well, I would like to get my anthology published as
Uh-huh.
well as your anthology published. Yeah, so get that writing in there. And then
Again, the title of your anthology book is?
I am worthy.
Yes, I Am Worthy.
Yeah. And then I'd also my goal sort of with Wings Out is to set up maybe a few, like I ran a retreat um at the end of April, but running some like not just virtual stuff, but actually gathering women together and running some retreat kind of stuff, just because that power of story and the power of connection and everything like that. I would like to get some of that kind of going within my group as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Mhm.
Probably I could invite you in my inner circle, so you could do some we could have like a retreat. Actually, our group is going to New York, and then
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's just really getting to know each other because we've been together through Zoom, and
Mhm.
we already had 51 sessions.
Oh my goodness.
We only started last year, and we meet every Mondays. And they told me, Cynthia, we need to go out and really help this friendship move to the next level, because we only see each other through Zoom. And we want
Oh,
to
we could totally dream up some amazing retreat kind of stuff to get
uh,
all these women together. That would be amazing.
yeah, let's see. I'll ask them if they are, because when I asked them, would you like to have something like we could have a program? Oh, no, 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 let's just go out. But I'm planning, let's see if we could probably in the evening just get together and see what we can do in terms of improving our relationship, not as members only of the community, but being friends, improving the relationship to the next level.
Yeah.
That would be great.
No, that sounds amazing. That sounds like a really good group of people to work with.
If you meet our group, our inner circle, you will enjoy, because we share for me, the inner circle is like having a series of batteries to light a bulb. A battery won't be able to light a bulb, but
Mm-hmm.
you need a number of batteries to light the bulb. Just like the inner circle, the member, the experience, the wisdom gained by one person, to be joined with other people who have gained wisdom because of 60 years of life, 75 years or 30 years, we are able to see each other, and then perceive uh, perceive life in a different way, because
That
most of the time we use our binoculars and we are not aware of what is outside. We are just focused on ourselves, right? But when
sounds very much like over COVID, I was belonged to a group called Words of Wisdom, and it was women, and we met on Zoom for like the 2 years of COVID, and we would just take turns sort of leading, and each of us was like an expert in something different, and we all like took turns like sharing with each other and learning from each other. It was really amazing. We've kind of drifted apart now that the world's back, but hopefully we'll find ways to make some new connections.
probably that you could start again to reconnect. You can start that, and that would be another goal for you.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. See, all your ideas are now coming up, and those ideas become your dream. And that
Well, and
your vision.
that's why I like collaborating with people, because sometimes, you know, like our thoughts are kind of like here, and then you talk to someone and you're like, oh, you could.
Yes. And that's what we need. We need someone to push you to see your potential, because I know and I believe that you have that potential. That's why I admire you. I'm so proud of you, Erin. You're
Thank
such
you.
a lovely person, and you have a lot of opportunities ahead of you.
Thank you. I admire you, which is why I wanted to be part of your project, because you inspire me to be. You're like such a good mom, and you're just a little bit past the phase I'm at. And I'm like, oh, look it, I could get to that phase one day.
Yes, yes. We're all here together, supporting each one and being accountability partners. How would you call that? Accountability partners. Because I want you to move up and then view life that, hey, life is great. Because I was in that situation wherein I didn't value my life anymore. I was so depressed. But because my children are here, they still need me. And that was the main reason that pushed me to really move forward. So what, again, I'm sure. So this is your goal, your anthology book, I Am Worthy, with WingsOut. That will be another one that you will run this retreat. And then what is the other one which we just shared about?
Oh, getting Words of Wisdom running again.
Okay, getting Words of Wisdom running again. Having a group, no?
Yeah.
Starting that group again. Now, what do you think is the major roadblock for you to move forward and achieve these goals?
My biggest roadblock is I sometimes talk and I need to actually take action.
Okay. So what can you do now to take action? How can you start taking action? Oh my.
Well, I am continuing to recruit authors to be part of my anthology. I am going to try, because I'm a teacher, I get some time off during the summer. So I'm going to try to organize, even if it's not like a personal retreat, an online retreat over the summer, so that
So to be
I-
attended by co-teachers or what?
or it could be attended by anybody who is interested in sort of the whole wings out, moving forward kind of process.
So you'll schedule this summer.
Yeah.
I'll start. Okay, good. Good. I am so happy for you. I'm so happy for you, Erin. And then for getting word of wisdom, how will you start this?
Well, I think that what I will maybe do is whatever I use as my retreat this summer, use it as a launching to start like a bi-weekly or weekly meeting kind of thing.
Great. Good. That's good. And at least I could see that you have a foresight of what action steps you'd like to take. And I'll be here, Erin. I'll be your accountability partner. I'll be your partner because I want I want to see you move to the next level. You deserve it.
Perfect. Well, then, if you're my accountability partner, what am I watching for you? What are you going to do in the next year, Cynthia?
Next year, because I never did I imagine to write another book. And I joined I don't know, probably more on speaking. I am trying. I do live posts, and I want my main objective is to inspire through the topic that I always share, the content that I always share, inspiring others. My vision is actually just very simple: spread sunshine and happiness to other people, so this may create a ripple effect. Because when even as I always say, even a smile can make an impact. So why not share that kindness, that compassion, that love? And sometimes we need to hear it. And I am always there. That's why I do live videos, because we have to be reminded. We need to be reminded by others that, hey, we have special gifts. We are created by God as a special person because we are special. And we only need to use our gifts, which just like what you have, by spreading that light to other people. I would always say, oh, I only have a 25-watt bulb. How could I share that light to other people? Hey, that is still a spark that you could share. Use that spark, and that is your gift. Change it to 100 or 200-watt bulb. How? Overcome all those fears, limiting beliefs. It's easy said than done, but then if we make or do baby steps, we'll be able to do that. That's what I did. I started with my self-care. I started going out to attend Zumba. I always pray. I have this strong relationship with God. That because for me, God, nothing is impossible. And that's the main thing for me. Believe. Believe in yourself that you can do it. Believe in God that He will always be there to carry you, even though you have fallen several times. But hopefully, this is another thing that's making me scared speaking in front of people. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm scared of writing. Actually, my coach convinced me to write another book after my journey into becoming. I'm scared. And then he got surprised when he saw my post that, oh, I am a co-author of this Overcoming Self-Sabotage. And then now I'm starting with Dream to Rise. See, because we know our purpose. It's not for our glory, but it's for God's glory that we're doing this for other people. And that's what pushes me, that gives me so much fire, that motivates me to move forward. It's hard to be a speaker. I'm scared. But I will do it, not because for me, but for God, for me to be used as God's instrument to share his message to the world. And that's what we're doing in this Dream to Rise anthology book. We are being used as his instrument to inspire and empower other people so they may lead the life they love.
Excellent. I am so looking forward to being on this journey with you.
Oh, same here, same here. And would you like to leave a word of advice to our listeners? Just a simple one.
What I would say is, if you can make like a little gratitude journal or just something little that you keep in your pocket all the time. And when you have a yes moment, record it, because our minds naturally pull to the negative, and every once in a while we just need to pull out those little reminders of the good things that happened. And sometimes those little tiny reminders are the things that push us through to the next thing.
I agree 100%. And that's why I always have this, I always tell my clients, what are the 10 things that you're grateful for and proud of? Because it helps. It truly helps. Thank you so much, Erin, for being here with me and with our listeners. And how can they reach out to you if they need to connect with you in terms of?
Sure. So they can check out my website, WingsOut.ca, or they can reach me by Instagram or Facebook at Hordyski, HORDYSKI, Luong, LUONG.
Okay. Again, thank you so much. So we look forward to working with you for our Dream to Rise anthology book, Erin. We'll be here.
Thank you so much, Cynthia.
Thank you. And have a blessed day, Erin.
Okay, you too.
Okay, thank you.